Good evening, I'm Prasad. How things have changed in Malaysia's political landscape in just a matter of days. Today we have DAP leaders defending Harapans' decision to work with Putrajaya, while Warisan appears unhappy with Harapans' decision.
Kita kuasa yang ada diberi mandat oleh rakyat, stolen mandat itu. Yes, kita akui betul. We agree. And yet, now we are working with them. We signed memorandum with them.
Semporna MP Mohd Shafie Apdal has slammed Pakatan Harapan for signing a memorandum of understanding with the federal government. He said Harapan and its allies had their mandate as federal government stolen in the Sheraton Move last year by the same parties they now seek to work with.
We don't realize that. Where is the values in our life? As a leader of this country, as a politician in this country, we have to have clarity. Yeah, I don't want end of the day, if the government of the day fail, and I sign that memorandum, I also fail.
The Warisan president explained that the priority should always be the country and its people, but many are now driven by greed and lust for positions. Shafie asserted that the root cause of the current instability in the country's political landscape was due to the Rakyat's mandate being stolen. This, he said, has led to too much concern over who has the numbers to gain power.
We are playing with numbers for human life in this country.
It's been raining a lot the past few days, so expect to see frogs coming out to play. But according to Azalina, the political kind could appear at any time. This is why an anti-hopping law is needed immediately.
Voters must be given the power to decide what happens to the people they voted for in the event they decide to defect to another party. Describing what is in essence recall elections, Pengerang MP Azalina Othman Said said the voters should decide via referendum whether or not an MP who has hopped should be retained or whether there should be a by-election. She said this today while debating the King's address in the Dewan Rakyat. Azalina also dedicated a poem to all the political frogs.
Lompat si katak lompat. Lompat di dalam perigi. Lompat jangan tak lompat. Nanti tak sempat menjadi. Itu sebabnya Tuan Yang Di-Pertua atas konsep demokrasi, kita kena wujudkan akta lompat parti.
An anti-hopping law is one of the reforms the government has promised in a deal with Pakatan Harapan. She added that an anti-hopping law should be expedited because, quote, frogs could jump at any time.
Parents, get your MySejahtera app now and start registering your children as dependents so they can finally get vaccinated.
12 to 17-year-olds in Malaysia will finally get their COVID-19 vaccines through the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. Under the new program called the COVID-19 Immunization Task Force Adolescents, they will be getting the vaccine produced by Pfizer-BioNTech. The program will be looking to administer one dose to 60% of those in this age group by November and fully vaccinate 80% before the school term begins next year. Priority will be given to those who are facing national exams and the frail. The program is open to all youths in the country, including the homeless, those in detention and foreigners. All educational institutions are required to register on the new Vaksin Anakku website, while parents are advised to register their children as dependents in the MySejahtera application. In a separate development, 10 individuals have been charged in court with falsifying vaccination certificates. According to Deputy Home Minister Ismail Muhammad Said, this involved 4 individuals in Sarawak, 2 each in Sabah and Melaka, and 1 each in Kelantan and Perak.
The special advisor to the Prime Minister, not only did Faisal Azumu get that fancy title, if Muhyiddin did not resign, his paycheck would have been rather fancy too. 27,227 ringgit and 20 sen a month. That's how much Ahmad Faisal Azumu was to take home as the special advisor to former Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. However, he did not complete a full month before the change of government. Faisal's appointment as special advisor was announced on August 5th. However, Muhyiddin resigned as Prime Minister on August 16th after 15 UMNO MPs withdrew their support for him. In a parliamentary reply yesterday, Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said Faisal was paid a pro-rata percentage of his monthly income and a replacement for termination of service notice with 1 month's salary. Ismail added that the position does not involve the payment of pension. He said Faisal was entrusted to advise the then Prime Minister on matters related to community communications. Ismail Sabri said this in response to Kapong MP Lim Lip Eng, who asked the Prime Minister to state the total salary received by the Tambun MP as Special Advisor to Muhyiddin with ministerial rank during his short term. Faisal is now Youth and Sports Minister in Ismail Sabri's administration.
Nama saya Nur Hadiah binti Abdullah. Anak saya Saswani binti Besu, umur 19 tahun. Dia ada penyakit kencing manis. Baru sebulan je. Lepas 2 minggu dia rasa mata dia boleh nampak sikit lah. Mungkin gula dia ada kawal dendam. Mata dia boleh nampak, kalau gula tinggi dia macam kabur sikit. Dulu dia insulinian. Ubat dia kita kena 14 unit, 12 unit. Sekarang ni kalau injek 8 unit, ada 9 unit, ada 10 unit. Kita kira makanan dia macam mana. Dia minum G-Shell tak injek banyak.
It appears Malaysia is finally ready to get work started on decriminalizing suicide. Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob told Parliament yesterday that the Attorney General's Chambers is considering decriminalizing suicide attempts. The decision to consider was made after the government studied laws regarding suicide attempts in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, India and Singapore. He said based on the law development in the studied countries, the AGC is considering the recommendations from stakeholders to remove suicide attempts from the criminal justice system. In his written reply to an MP, Ismail Sabri also said the AGC is considering placing individuals who are attempting suicide into the healthcare system so they can receive the appropriate treatment. Ismail Sabri, however, did not answer when a bill for suicide decriminalization will be tabled and debated in Parliament. He said the AGC is currently weighing on its legal options and ramifications of removing suicide attempts from the criminal justice system. There were 902 suicide attempt cases recorded from 2018 to June 2021. The Health Ministry previously backed a push to decriminalize suicide, with its Director General Dr. Mohd Shafie Apdal and Minister Khari Jamaluddin speaking out on mental health. Many Harapans supporters have questioned the coalition's move to sign a deal with Putrajaya, but according to Tony Phua, they have nothing to worry about. DAP Publicity Chief Tony Phua is confident Pakatan Harapan will continue to play its role as the opposition despite having signed a deal with Putrajaya. Speaking to KiniTV, Tony said there is nothing in the agreement which stops Harapan from playing the role of the opposition.
There's nothing in the agreement that says that we cannot scold the Prime Minister, or we cannot scold any underperforming ministers, or we cannot criticize one of the ministers who says something stupid like they did before. So we are still the opposition, just like before, except that we have succeeded now to persuade the government to jointly carry out reforms in the interest of the people.
On September 13, Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob, on behalf of the federal government, signed the Memorandum of Understanding on Transformation and Political Stability with Harapan.
If the MoU gets breached compared to if we didn't sign the MoU, are we worse off? We are not worse off. But if the MoU gets signed and the government fulfills the terms in the MoU by passing all these reforms and the requests that we have put in place, then the rakyat benefits, so we benefit, and the Malaysian democracy benefits. So it's a no-brainer for us because there's nothing for us to lose. We continue to be an opposition. We continue to protest against unfair actions by the government or incompetent actions by the government. It's only in the bills that the government wants to pass, they actually have to consult with us. And if they do and incorporate our views, then we, on our part, would then have an obligation not to object to these bills.
Tony, Ong Kian Meng and Anthony Lok were among the key architects of the deal on Harapan's side. The trio worked on a similar deal offered by former Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin on August 13th. However, the deal was rejected by Harapan's top leadership. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thanks for watching.